Well, hello again, my friends, and welcome once more to the Invisible College. It's all around you, but you can't see it. It's everywhere. Um, yes, well, this is going to be a sort of impromptu little lecture. Well, it's not a lecture, actually. It's going to be a chat, another impromptu chat, um, because it's Christmas coming up, and I love Christmas. It's the most popular season in the year, isn't it? Certainly the most popular Christian festival. Um, Arguably, of course, the really big one that we should be celebrating even more is Easter, but we have to make do with chocolate eggs for Easter. Somehow Christmas is the one everyone's ready for a bit of a celebration, and this year once more our stupid government are going to lock us all down for Christmas, put a damp rag on everything. So I thought, why don't we celebrate a little bit together, and we'll talk about where we've come and where we're going to, and what's important, and why we should be considering Christianity at all as a reasonable subject. Because, of course, most people, or an awful lot of people, think Christianity is really boring. And I can understand their point. I mean, you have these boring vicars who stand in the pulpit, and they spout on, and they tell you nothing, and they just go through the motions, and half the time they don't even believe what they're saying. I went to a Catholic boarding school, and we had priests teaching us all the time everything, and most of them were very unhappy men, I have to tell you. But they're not the only unhappy religious people. I've yet to meet a happy Buddhist. I know Buddhism's cool, isn't it? It's really cool, especially if you live in California or one of these kind of hippie places. Buddhism is cool. You can wear orange robes. You might have some kind of Buddhist beads. You read a different book like, The Life of the Buddha. And you feel kind of special, maybe even shave your head if you're lucky enough to have hair to shave. And it's cool, isn't it? But I have to tell you, I've yet to meet a happy Buddhist. And I'm not surprised, because Buddhism starts out teaching everything is suffering. That for every joy you have in this world, there's going to be some suffering to come later. So best not to attach yourself to anything, best to have no feelings about anything. Then you won't be disappointed. I think the only Buddhist I've ever seen smile or laugh is the Dalai Lama. But he's only one man, isn't he? And he's perhaps having a laugh at everyone else. I don't know. He seems like a very nice guy. But in general, I've yet to meet a happy Buddhist. So, and then there's others, isn't there? Let me just say, I've got some little cards here to talk about. Yes. In general, I don't go for gurus with beards and robes who come over here into the West, try to indoctrinate us into some weird religion, which is loosely based perhaps on Hinduism, which we don't know anything about. Let's face it. I mean, I've never been worshipping an elephant-headed god in my life, let alone one with 6 hands. And from what I've seen of what goes on in India, a lot of it is very unsavory. Eating human flesh off a fire. I mean, you could be a really holy man, You're covered in ashes, you haven't got any clothes on because you're holy, and you hang out in a graveyard, and bodies are being burnt there, and you eat the flesh of these bodies to show that, I don't know what, and that's holy. Or your body, when you've died, is thrown into River Ganges, great holy river Ganges, and these dead bodies floating down it, and people are bathing in it, drinking the water from it. I mean, come on, are we meant to follow that? I mean, I wouldn't want to be drinking water out of the Thames, anyway, let alone if there's dead bodies floating down it. So I don't think these guys have really got anything to teach us, to be honest with you. I think that they might be all right for them. Maybe there's something going on there that I don't understand. but I'd much rather stick with good old Christianity. And what about New Age? Yeah. Well, I'm a pretty New Agey sort of person myself, you know. I believe in the New Age, but that doesn't mean I think that coloured crystals are going to do anything for my health. Lighting scented candles, well, yes, that's all very nice. Make a nice atmosphere, nice music in the background, yeah. But I'm for using this and for analysing and finding out things and digging deeper. I want to dig deeper, you know. If someone comes along and says to me, look, I've got these wonderful amethyst stones and they really relax me, I'll say, well, why? How did they do that? Can you explain it to me? You know, what's the crystal type of amethyst? Yeah, is it face-centered cube perhaps, or icosahedron? I mean, what is it about the amethyst? Is it the purple color? Is that what matters? Because we can have purple colors from all sorts of things, can't we? We don't need to have expensive crystals. You could paint the whole house purple if you really wanted to. So I haven't really got very much time for what you might call New Age practice, especially when that gets wrapped up also with pseudo-Buddhism and pseudo-Hinduism. Hare Krishna, yeah? Do you really think walking down the street, banging a tambourine and saying Hare Krishna is going to get you to heaven? Do you really think that's going to make you enlightened? It's not, is it? Yeah? That's a cop-out. It's a stupid cop-out for losers. And I don't want to be a loser, and I'm sure you don't either. Christianity is the only religion that takes this book, the Bible, and finds the prophecies in it and how they have actually happened in history, many of them, and has prophecies again for our own time and promises us something very, very special. But before I go into that, I wanted to show you my Christmas card. I use it every year. I hang it up every year over the fireplace, and here you see it. And this is a nativity scene, as you can see, but it's not a nativity scene as you would generally understand it, because I've done a lot of research on this subject. Did you know the whole Christmas card, Three Kings, Orientar and all that, originally it comes from the Armenian church, the Armenians. Now, I've been to what was Armenia. I've been to the capital of what was Armenia, which is the town of Nisibis, which is in Turkey, right on the border with Syria and very close to the border with Iraq, right in the corner there, southeast Turkey. And the Armenians, they put together a story about the coming of the three kings. And that story is actually an allegory, and it's a story connected with the stars and star positions, and that's what this picture is. And I'm going to be explaining all that in lectures that I'm doing at the moment. I put the first one up, called Beyond Orion, but these are only going to be for people who are members of the college, who've made an actual commitment to the college. And there's not going to be open lectures like most of the ones I've done. But this painting was done for me by a friend of mine called Bengt Alfredsson, who sadly passed away a few years ago. And he's a remarkable artist, a Swedish guy. And we'd been friends since 1971. And he painted 3 pictures for me. This was one of them, which was an illustration he did for my book Magi, Quest for the Secret Tradition. And the whole thing about this is that there are secrets for us to unravel. They exist. And he agrees with me. My friend Horace, yeah, he says hello, and he's saying Happy Christmas to you as well. He comes from Egypt, and there's a lot of interesting things to be discovered in Egypt. Egypt was once a major centre of Christianity. I don't know if you realise that. I mean, it's an Islamic state today, and the Coptics, the remaining Christians in Egypt, are a beleaguered 10% of the population. They're under attack all the time. But Egypt was a very important place long before the time of Abraham. And we've started investigating that in our lectures. And I'm going to be telling you a hell of a lot more that I've discovered since then about how Egypt was the original Holy Land. Yeah, it really was. But that's a whole other story. And we're talking now about Jesus. And the only place we know that Jesus went to for sure is Egypt, other than where he was born in the Holy Land. Now, I'm quite certain that he went to other places too. But we're told in the Bible that his parents took him as a baby because Herod was going to kill all the babies in Bethlehem. You remember that story? And they escaped, and the angel told them that what was going to happen, and they escaped and went to Egypt. So Egypt's a very special place, and it has a place in my heart. And old Horus here, there's a lot more to what that's all about than just idol worship and people with funny hawk head gods instead of elephant gods. There's a lot more to it than that. But I should be explaining that, and I'm going to do it in some of these lectures that I'm doing now. Yeah, this is a bit of an advert for the college because we're off the ground now. I'm putting together the website, and we've got the first lecture up in my Beyond Orion series, which I'm going to be doing. And we're going to be pressing on with that. But that is only going to be for members because, like any kind of group or school, there's the inner court and the outer court. And the outer court is what we're doing now. Yeah, we're just chatting, and it costs you nothing. It's like Speaker's Corner. You can just come along, you can listen if you feel like it, and you can go off and have tea somewhere. It's like that. But people who join the college have made some kind of commitment. They want to actually learn. And it's the difference between just being a spectator and watching from a distance and partaking. And that's where we're going with this college now. So I want to thank you, those of you who have been following these lectures for the last couple of years. And thank you if you've subscribed to the channel. And that does mean a lot. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, because I'm going to be carrying on doing lectures on the channel, free lectures for anyone who wants to come along. So thank you for your listening and for your watching, and please do subscribe if you haven't already. Even better, you can become an associate of the college if you just send an email to admin.invisiblecollege@protonmail.com. I'll put the link down the bottom, but admin.invisiblecollege@protonmail.com. I'm the admin. Send an email to the college, and I'll respond, and I'll put you on the list, and that will make you an associate member. That's not the same as being a member of the college, but you will get the occasional newsletter, and it does mean that we will have your email address or an email address to contact you by. And I should add here that I advise you to take out a Proton Mail email address. That won't cost you anything either. You can get higher levels of you can join, pay £5 a month, whatever it is, and that gives you a certain amount of space and so on, that sort of thing. But you don't need to do that. You can just have a Proton Mail account, and it gives you certain security because Proton Mail have very high level of security, and their servers are in Switzerland, where they have very strict data protection laws, unlike the United States or Britain. So you're less likely to get spied on with that account. That's why I put the Invisible College account there. So anyway, I just wanted to say Happy Christmas, and do have a good time. And don't think that Christianity is a boring religion. It's not. It's far, far from it. And once you get into it and get beyond those guys with their dog collars and their silly hats and their preaching, get away from all that and find the essence of it. Dig deeper, because it's about your future, and it's about you developing, and you can develop your clairvoyance, you can develop your higher nature, you can develop your spiritus body, as they call it. These things are as much, if not more, in the Western tradition of Christianity as in the airy-fairy stuff that comes from the East. So stick with it, and thank you very much, and happy Christmas. Goodbye.